Hello Hambini fans and welcome to the sun-kissed streets of Manchester, England. Today we have a product launch, the Hambini Italian bottom bracket, and no expense has been spared, so I've come to see my good friend Les, one of my Hambini fans, to have one installed. So, without further ado, let's get in there. Now, Manchester, a place which I hold close to my heart, somewhere where you can get drugs within 400 metres of any postal address in Manchester. Just pick up the phone and your local friendly drug dealer will bring some nandrolone along with other various specialties that you may require. But anyway, we digress. This is probably going to be the world's fucking shittest promotional video, but never mind. Fucking hell, it is cold as fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ, last time I was here. Aha! Hello Hambini fans! Hello Hambini fans! Well, we'd have to be, wouldn't we? This is just like the world's shittest product video. Product launch video, Les. Product launch.
Hello there, again.
Again. Do you want to say anything to that tosser, Keith, who made a comment on one of the videos?
What?
The rally bike.
What, saying it wasn't very good?
Yeah, he gave him a middle finger, but I thought you might want to add something to it.
Well, it's his own opinion, isn't it?
I would go so far to say he's a fucking wanker.
Yeah, well,
last time I was here, everyone was admiring your grass, Les.
no, it's destroyed now because I've just had an extension built.
Have you?
Yeah, so.
Fuck.
So it's slightly,
Home improvements.
yeah,
Check that out.
slightly,
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Check out the quality of the brick matching there, people.
yeah, it's been a nightmare.
thin well,
with It's been a nightmare with the builders and that, letting us down and letting us down and all that. You know, we're waiting for the electrician now, and plaster's just been. It's been a nightmare, but
Move to Germany. Better.
Is it?
Yeah. Here we go, fans. We are removing the old bottom bracket on this rather nice Pinarello frame.
I just got it. Just bought it from
eBay.
A bloke from Italy just sent me. It took 3 weeks to get here because of the COVID restrictions.
Oh dear.
So,
Dear oh dear.
And that was, what was it? £340 just for the frame, and I've just built it up to 105 because that's all I had. I stripped a mountain bike, took the bars and everything off that and put it all on here. Just to get it going, you know.
Yeah.
I know it should have Campanella, but I got it. I prefer Shimano anyway, because the bits are more accessible, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the way that I look at Shimano is it's been engineered by, it's almost robotic, whereas Campag is more an piece of art rather than engineering.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Anyway, I don't know where the heck I got these bearings from. They're just in my bag of bits.
So on an Italian bottom bracket, both sides are right-hand thread.
That's right.
So in theory, it doesn't actually matter which way you put this in. So you can either put the...
Do you want me to slide her in?
Well, if you pull that out, so there's two halves to this, which is a tight fit. So I'll put that on the other side. So you might have to thread it like half a turn.
There is grease on them threads.
Okay.
I don't want to cross thread them.
Is it in?
Yeah. Which way did I go on that side?
Clockwise.
It's clockwise.
Yeah.
Let me just try it on this side. Does it matter?
Alright, don't screw that in all the way. Put the other end in, because as you tighten it, it'll...
so that's go that way, yeah?
That one needs to go other way. That way, yeah.
Yeah, that's got it.
So it doesn't actually matter which side you put these in, but
Do you want one?
Screw them together, it should just tighten up. It'll get tight as the sleeves cross.
Yeah, it's tight now.
Okay. And then you might just have to stop and then tighten this end. Ooh. So just have to give it a go. Might have to slacken the other end off. How's it going?
Yeah.
Okay. So once it's in, so that's lining it up.
Why wouldn't you say about a spacer then?
Because if you've got the spacer on, you move the bearing to the wrong place, and the number of threads that engage won't be that high.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that axle will work then, will it?
I'll have a look. I'll take it away and have a look.
But my Carnago, the bottom bracket on that, it's just like a normal. It's Italian thread, but it's a different shell width, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's why I thought, well.
Okay, you're getting up to the near to the point where.
That's nip that.
And then just nip
Did I
that
go that
one
way?
off. That one is.
Is it towards the back?
Towards upwards. No, other way. That's it.
Yeah, so that's why I thought I'd just get the same bottom back, because it's Italian. That's going out, that's the wrong way.
Oh, sorry.
Wrong way, Mr. Hambini.
Clockwise. It's because it's back to front.
Yeah.
So just for clarity,
Like
viewers, it's clockwise both ends. Might help if you stand on the right side of the bike.
Yeah, that might help.
And that's it.
That's
I think
just
that's
nip.
it.
Yeah, don't want to do too much on it.
No, well,
That's a little nip there.
the only thing with this is you're better off when you put this on to put a bit of thread lock or something like that.
It has got grease in.
Yeah, the thread lock would be on that side, would need it more than that side because it might unwind itself.
Because it's the opposite thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say.
So once that's done, we just need to put the crank in. There we go! What do you reckon, Les?
It nearly spins as smooth as them. Nex Gen bearing, hub bearings.
Oh.
But yeah, very, very smooth, very good. Very nice. What can we say about it, really?
It's the dog's bollocks.
It's a dog's bollocks, you get what you pay for.
Now, didn't I tell you that was going to be the shittest product launch ever? So now we come on to today's PowerPoint. It wouldn't be a Hambini video without a PowerPoint. So, my product launch PowerPoint, which I've decided to call Q&A answered by a twat who doesn't like riding a bike. By Hambini, aged 5. Now, just for a bit of clarification on that shite product launch, if you are installing an Italian threaded BB, for some miraculous reason, they've put right-handed threads on both sides. So you need to apply thread lock specifically onto the drive side, because otherwise it will come loose as you pedal. Right, now the Q&A. Now, remember, if you are out there in YouTube land, you know, thinking about things and wondering if there is ever anyone in the world who is shitter on a computer than yourself, then you are looking at him. So somehow, despite my shite PowerPoint skills, I've ended up with 65,000 subscribers, there or thereabouts, and about 50,000 people who hate me. Right, the first question came from Jeff. Did you see that? Did you fucking see that? In fact, is my pen working? Fuck, where's the pen? Shit, where is the pen? Oh. Fuck. Right. Pen. Oh, fucking hell. Right, people actually get off on watching me be shit. Oh, yes, right. On PowerPoint. Anyway, Jeff Carroll asked, are oversized jockey wheels and jockey bearings, what are they worth it? And are tri-rig Omega brakes or any other brake from Aero Brake for that matter more slippery in the wind compared to regular brakes? And then Alan Bra replied and he put, and can an aero front brake actually make the frame perform better with no brakes at all? Increase aerofoil length. Right, so I'll answer those questions on the next page. So, oversized jockey wheels and bearings. Now, this is like a hot, well, I wouldn't say it's a hot topic, but one of the prime protagonists of this is Ceramic Speed. And they sort of go on about oversized jockey wheels, reducing drag, and the gains from it. So I can really speak to you from my opinion on the bearing front. So if you fuck, I went to town with this PowerPoint. Fucking now, yeah. Right. If you, I've just defaced that. Someone said it was Control E to get rid of everything. Oh fucking hell, yeah. Control P for the pen. Yes, I remembered that. Might help that I put a piece of paper below with all that shit on, but anyway, with those shortcuts, which I forgot to read earlier on. Right, if you fit a set of 608 LLBs by NTN into Shimano jockey wheels, you will save about 0.2 watts when those bearings are fucked. Now, I've never done it on a brand new set, so you probably get, I don't know, maybe half that. So the saving will be 0.1 watts. That is just the bearing drag. Now, if you were to go to like a ceramic speed oversized pulley wheel, then you are into what is known as chain angle theorem. So if I draw, where's the pen? If that's a normal wheel and that's an oversized wheel, the angle of the chain across the normal pulley wheel is that. The angle of the chain across the massive pulley wheel is that. So the overall total angle is the same, but the individual angle that the chain links have to pass through is diminished. And that apparently gives you a reduction in power. Now, I don't know the basics behind this, so I went and emailed one of my mates who works at Renault. Renault are, I think the guy was Swiss. Anyway, they're based in Manchester and they make chains. So they're quite a prominent chain manufacturer. So industrial usage, chains, Renault. Now, he said, so a 19 tooth versus a 12 tooth on a 1/2 inch pitch gives you 0.02 Newton meters of torque reduction. And he also caveated that with, that's not measured, that's a calculated measurement. They've never actually done it, so there may be some error margin in there. That is, if you were pedaling at 80 RPM, I don't know, 53 tooth chainring, you will be looking at about 0.45 watts. So that is the drag reduction saving, 0.45 watts. However, you also have the additional weight of the extra chain links, and the rear mech is further dangling into the wind. Now, whether it's more or less than 0.45 watts, I don't think it's ever been measured, but my opinion is it'll be more. So your net loss is worse because of the aero drag, the chain weight, all of that. It's small amounts, but it's small amounts that are costing you $500. So why do you want a small amount when it costs you that, and it possibly could make you slower? And I imagine the riding position will also have an effect on how much drag and all that kind of carry on that you have, and also your choice of rear wheel. Right, in terms of the brakes, now if you haven't seen the video by Wayno's Photos, then go and have a look at that about disc brakes and rim brakes. Now, Alan's question was, does the brake increase the aerofoil length? So basically what he's saying is, if this is the front wheel, the brake, the fork comes up like that, and the brake sits sort of here. So does it increase, and then the frame comes round. Wow, that is a fucking good drawing. Right, the brake sits there. So he's saying, will that increase the length? Well, it will increase the length because you will have an addition to the fork, but the air in this region... Can I change the colour? Full interruptions, ink colour. Let's pick purple. The air coming off the top of the wheel is basically doing that. Yeah. So you're in this region where the airflow hitting it is not uniform, it's swirling all over the place, and your gain is not going to be that high. Okay. Next question. Oh fuck, look at my grade 1 D grade PowerPoint. Fucking hell. Fuck. this chap, Project Cycling, has sent me a link to this video. So if I click on that, will it work? Fuck. Right, let's click on that. And right. So this is a specialized ethos, I'm not quite sure. And this is the spin. So it only went round 2 clicks there. Now I guess his question was, is that any good or not? I guess the short answer is, it depends. Now looking at that, I would say that is a Shimano bottom bracket, and it's probably one of the newer type. The newer types have smaller bearings in. Now the smaller bearings are useful because they have less drag, but they're fully sealed. So if you get a fully sealed bearing, the drag on it is quite high. So I wouldn't say that was all that bad. Not as bad as the one which was the SRAM one from a couple of weeks ago, where that was shit, utter shit. Right, next. Ooh, is Peak Talk a better engineer than Hambini? And I replied, well, I'm going to have to answer this for sure. Now, I wasn't quite sure how to go about proving that I was better than someone else without using swear words. So I had to rack my brains and that of my colleagues, and we came up with PT versus Hambini Top Trumps. Now, if you're not familiar with what Top Trumps is, let me get the pen. Fuck. Control P. It's fucking written there. Shit. I'm a complete fucking bellend. Right. Basically, when you were a little nipper, you used to have car X and car Y, let's call it a Porsche and a Ferrari, and there was all these stats on the cars, and then you had to get all the cards off your mate because you had the fastest car, you had the tallest car, you had the lightest car, all of these things. And this is Top Trumps for engineers, by engineers. Right, so the first criteria, which was suggested by none other than my secretary, which was, who is better looking? So I had to go and find 5 random women who are all above the age of consent to keep it all legal and all that shit, and below the age of 90 to make sure that they could see the 2 pictures and ask them who was better looking. So, who was better looking? I got absolutely fucking reamed here. PT 5, Hamdingo 0. So I think that's 1 to PT. Then, to even this up, I asked my other mate, who fortunately is not my secretary, but has suicidal tendencies and is a rampant twat bag. And he said, go on Grindr forum and ask them who is better looking. Now, me, not being a man of the world, did not know what Grindr was. But then someone linked to Rent Boys for Sale in Dusseldorf in this forum, and then I kind of figured out what it was. So anyway, I went into this forum and asked these individuals who was better looking, and they all said PT. Now, I don't know if this is a win for him or a win for me. Please comment below. Let me know who's the winner out of this one. And then, in a moment of pure genius, while I was taking the biggest shit ever after eating lots of Wiener Schnitzel, I came up with this idea, which was, who is better looking, MILF edition. And now for this one, I asked 10 women who went to the same nursery as I did, whose mum went to the same nursery as I did, and came up with this. 4 of them said PT, and 6 of them said me. So that is a win to me. Yes. So that is 2 to him, 1 to me, 2 to PT, 1 to me. Then we came on to who is the better plumber, and this was a complete no-brainer. I've had my sewage engineering reviewed by PT, and he gave me a 10. So therefore, I'm giving myself a 10. And then, who has more wattage? well, we don't know how much wattage PT has. So, me, with my 195 watts FTP, and that is a real number, not like those lying fuckers on Weight Weenies who have ridiculous FTPs that all start with 2 and then have 2 digits afterwards and more like 250 something. I mean, fucking hell, who has 250 something? I mean, you must be on the fucking juice. Or you must not be getting laid. Anyway, we digress. Right. That is a genuine FTP. My FTP, 195 watts. I'm not lying about it. You know, I try really hard. I can probably get up to about 240, but I can't be fucked. So that is it. 195. Let's get on with it. Based on that, a total of 5, add 5, add 4, add unknown, which is 0, gives me a total of 14. I'm not very good at adding up, as you'll have found out from my last video. And then on the right, we have me, which is 0, add 6, which is 600, add 10, which is 610, add 195, which is like near enough 900. So that's good enough for my 3 significant figures. I win that one. Hambini wins! Right, next question. The new tarmac, this one came from Matt Thompson. He said, the new tarmac SL7 has a cutout for the rear tyre and the seat tube. The gap between the tyre and frame is huge and they claim it is for aero gains. Now, this is the Shiv and the Specialized tarmac. Now, if you look at this bike, from an aerodynamic point of view, both of these are shit. Now, I believe Alex Dowsett was on this bike for the World TT Championship, or was it Euro TT Championships? I think if he was on a different bike, he would have won. This gap here, and consequently this gap here, not even my Look 386, KG 386 from 2003 has that. That is not a good thing. So if I was to draw like an aerofoil, and those bikes are coming from that side, normally we draw left to right, so I will draw actually left to right. If you draw an aerofoil like this, okay, you get airflow that comes all over and round. If you have a split aerofoil, so there's a gap between the two, what happens is airflow comes along here, alright, and then some of it goes round. And the same thing on the bottom. Now, if there's any slight difference, i.e. the flow is not symmetrical through the centre line of this aerofoil, what happens is you get airflow that comes in, okay, it tries to balance its pressure and then it ends up in here and then off we go. Okay, if that happens, you get significant drag. Significant drag. Okay, if I go control, can I erase the pen on the slide, pointer options. This gets pronounced when you are at, you know, in an aerofoil a yaw. So if we do that, okay, on the airflow comes along here, round. Airflow comes along here and round. The air pressure on this side is at lower pressure. The air pressure on this side is at high pressure. What happens is air pressure always tries to even itself out. So you get air that's at high pressure coming around here. Right? Now if you look at aircraft, and we're looking at it head on here, so they're the wings. What you find is wing tips. Now what happens at the wing tip, if you're looking on a sort of a day with a lot of humidity, is you get air that comes in here, which is at high pressure, and then swirls round to here, and you get like rooster tails called tip vortices coming off, and that's caused by high pressure moving to low pressure. If you put that slit in there and make it really, really big, you make that really bad. So what you want is as small a gap as possible, because then air cannot get in there and then round. It has to take the travel. Now the easiest example of this is if you were to take the front wheel. Now if I took the front wheel, yeah, and this is what, probably a 60mm disc, a 60mm rim. If you were to make that a complete disc, air comes in here, okay, there's a physical boundary which it cannot penetrate, and then it goes off, detaches here. There is no detachment anywhere else along the wheel, give or take. This, that is an aerodynamic abomination. And I've said this before, it's ridiculous. The other thing on this bike that does not lend itself well to aerodynamics is this sloping top tube. Yeah, I know it's a fashion thing to have, but it's not good from an aerodynamic point of view. You're better off, and you wonder if they've thought about this on the TT bike. The TT bike, the top tube is basically horizontal. So that's better. So these gaps, I don't know who the aerodynamicist at Specialized is, but you know, nobody I know says that is good. Absolutely nobody. Don't know what they were thinking, and I don't know how it's marketed, but I mean, you want to close those clearances up as much as possible, because otherwise you're just going to shed a load of vortices. So yeah, so if you had this gap like this, then air comes in here, round, swirls, gets all fucked, and you've lost it. Whereas if it's a very small gap, you don't get that. Now, Specialized have this bike. So this is the, I think it's the last edition Shiv TT. And there's a couple of things here that you need to be aware of. The disc here on this bike, you can quite clearly see how much of a pain that is, because they've had to make the fork bigger to take the load, and the actual contraption of the disc is not a small component, whereas the front brake, yes, as messy as it is well shielded by the front tyre, because you're going to need the tyre anyway, so you just have it there. And then also, I mean, look at that. Look at the gap between there. How can you go from having a gap that's fuck all to massive and tell me it's more aerodynamic? It's just recycling the theory to sell more bikes. Right, what is your personal velocity record in your Ford Focus? And that came from Max Redburn. So this is me, and that is the Schumacher curver on the Nürburgring F1 track. I can't remember when that picture was taken. That car's had a few little tweaks, so those who know me know what that car's had, and that's basically a new turbo and a few other bits and pieces. So by the time I'd finished filling around, it had a lot more power than standard. So the record that, well, I've done, I'm no racing driver, but my record on the Nordschleife from the bridge to the gantry is 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I don't think I've got the talent to go any faster than that. Well, I haven't. So that is the record. And then on the German motorway, I did get nicked for speeding. Basically, I was going along a de-restricted section, and then it became restricted, and then I got busted at 100 kilometers per hour over the speed limit. I can't really say anything other than I had to pay the fine. So there you go. Take my driving offences. I pay my fines because you know that's what you got to do. I don't like doing it. I'm basically contributing to the German economy in more ways than one, and there we go. Right, and final thing, a few people ask me this, is what are my thoughts for the coming year? There's one thing that's coming in the next couple of weeks, which is a chap called Paul Farrell. He is launching a company called Nex Gen Sports, and we'll link to him in the bottom of this description. So he's got a different sort of business model for selling cycling equipment, and it was quite fascinating to watch him and Paul Liu and a few other bits and pieces involved in that. So I wish him well. I think that's the way we're going, and I think that's a good thing. On to other things. Trends in the bike industry. Threaded bottom brackets will be back. Fundamentally, a threaded bottom bracket is still a press fit or interference fit, because the bearing goes into the cup, and it is still a press fit. The only difference is you haven't got twats making the frame. Now, I get a lot of criticism on loads of forums going, that Hambini, he applies aerospace tolerances to a bike frame. That is completely 100% bullshit. I just apply sound engineering practices, and your frame that you've spent an awful lot of money on, if you pay, if you do it in terms of dollars per gram of frame, it's an awful lot of money. And then you end up with something that does not fit or does not work. If that was your car, you wouldn't accept it. But you've got all these people in the bike industry mainly, you say, I just get the shittest frames. That's not true at all. I apply sound engineering practice, which is the tolerances you would apply to your food blender to the bike. There's nothing more sophisticated than that. I will slag them off to my heart's content. If you supply a $5,000 bike frame and the fucking hole's not round and made to the standard that it's supposed to be, then you should rightly get shafted. You shouldn't be just sitting there saying, oh, it's a one-off, it's a one-off. It is way too common for it to be a one-off. Or, for a $5,000 frame, your QA/QC should never let it out the fucking door. So that's just not acceptable. But anyway, we digress. Threaded BBs are coming back. So Specialized, they are putting threaded BBs back. You've obviously seen the Italian bottom bracket. So some fuckers from some cycling team contacted me, and then we have an Italian bottom bracket. This T47 is a bit of a strange one, because Trek have sort of bastardized this and made the tool fit really, really thin. And I don't know why they did it. Was it just to be cunts? What the fuck? They already fucked BB90 up royally. And there was also that Trek, was it a Monda aluminium frame, where the guy had blown a fucking hole through the weld, and then botched it back up. I don't know what they were thinking. Anyway, T47, I think Factor might be going to T47, because I've had a few inquiries about Factor bikes. So anyway, press fit BBs will converge. Now, BB386 Evo is the official name. A lot of people just call this BB386, but it's 46mm nominally by 86.5. That and BB86 will become the dominant standards. I could see that happening. Now, the only exception to that is Cannondale. So Cannondale still have a significant market share, and so does Cervelo, but those two, so Cervelo and Cannondale, they'll still have their oddball PF30 and B-Bright. But I think, as far as the other manufacturers, so Canyon is on BB86, Look BB386, Time BB386, I think Merida BB386, Evo, sorry. That's where the way we're going. A lot of the Chinese manufacturers, BB86, so that's where we're going. Right. Aero wind tunnel testing. Now, aero wind tunnel testing marketing is essentially dead. It's died a death, because people have figured out that the wind you get out in the street is not even remotely compatible with steady state in a wind tunnel. Now, yeah, so there we go. Right, I really hope you enjoyed this fucking rant and this shite presentation. If you did, remember to whack the like button. If you didn't, go fuck yourself. And as always, keep fucking your hairdressers. Until next time, ciao for now.